Well, Dr. Rasmus Nilsson is a teaching fellow in Russian foreign policy at the University College London. He joins us now here in the studio. Dr. Nilsson, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I want to ask you about this meeting. It is historic in many ways. Just explain why, and tell us why the meeting now.
Well, the meeting now, to start with that part of the question, is because both regimes really need several options in the international sphere. I mean, both in Saudi Arabia and in Russia right now, you are in some ways in a time of transition, and both are therefore looking around to have as many partners as possible abroad. It is historic in the sense that both countries now realize that they do need each other. Previously, of course, there have been quite a few concerns, particularly from the Russian side, in terms of security and in terms of terror, when we were talking about the Gulf states, whereas now the situation is such that the Russian side in particular are forced to focus on economic affairs.
Is this going to upset Washington? Or is this all done with tacit approval?
Well, as I've said before, I think it's a little bit difficult to find out sometimes what will upset the Americans these days, how they will react. But I will say it would be clever of them to wait and see. I mean, America right now does not seem interested in or possibly even capable of engaging thoroughly in the Middle East region as much as they've done before. And if that's the case, then it's in their interest, as well as in the interest of the West, that Russia and Saudi Arabia and a few other regional powers can get along and can perhaps create some strategy for the region going forward.
Why does Saudi Arabia need to look around for weapons? They get plenty of weapons from the West.
They do get plenty of weapons from the West, and I don't think they are desperate in any way. But I think this is a way for the Saudis to try and indicate to the West, for instance, that we can go elsewhere. And
why do they feel the need to do that?
Well, you could certainly think of that for economic reasons, to get a better price for the weapons they want to buy, but also because the Americans have irked them in recent times, for instance, in terms of energy production and so on. And the Saudis would like to remind the Americans and others that, well, if that's the case, maybe we can talk more with the Russians instead.
And the Saudis are looking to the Russians for cooperation as a non-OPEC member, so to speak, to keep those prices healthy.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we've got to remember, of course, both Saudi Arabia and Russia are stable states in many ways, but their economies are not going quite as well as they did before, and they will both be interested in seeing what they can get out of each other here, yeah.
OK, well, thank you very much, Dr. Rasmus Nilsson. Thank you very much for your expertise this afternoon.